All right, we're back. I think everything is ready to go. Look, the workbench is empty. We're gonna actually start today the Tallgeese Flugel. So I've changed my plans a little bit. I had really wanted to start detailing work on my master grade Virtue, which is already snapped up and has been for a while, and it's been waiting for me to start some detailing work on it, but I'm working on a new studio space out in my garage, and so while that's going on, I've had to disconnect my airbrush, my spray booth area. It's all stowed away, and some of my other tools that are out there are not available as well. So because of that, I figured I'm gonna wait until that is all completed, and then I can work in that space on the Virtue. So in the meantime, we're going to continue building through my P-Bandai backlog that I had stacked up from a lot of orders that I placed last year. And the Tallgeese Flugel is next on the list, I guess. This is going to be interesting because I have built the Wing Zero Verka, of course, which, you know, has some parts that contribute to this for sure, the wings. And I also built a Master Grade Tallgeese a long time ago. So there is some familiarity, at least for me, with this process. There are a lot of runners you can see here that have parts we're not going to use, as is to be expected. There's also, it's weird, there's like, these are all C runners, for example. So these two C runners are from the Tallgeese, and this C runner is from the Wing. Same with some D runners. So there's multiple or duplicates of certain letters. But they're from the original kits, from, you know, one or the other of the original kits. So that's interesting. Also, you know, as is to be expected with a P-Bandai kit, it came with a nice big sheet of water slide decals, mostly just these little red caution markings that we get with a lot of Verka style kits. Basically the same as what we got with the Wing Gundam. And then with a few changes like this logo here for the Tallgeese. So that's nice. And then weirdly, it also came with a small sheet of foil color correcting stickers, which is unfortunate and a bit sad for a master grade kit. But I'm going to be painting this kit, so that's not going to matter so much for me. And then it came with a very tiny spring, which you might be able to see here, and I've left it in the plastic bag so I don't lose it. And I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe for like the action on the Dober gun. I'm not sure. I haven't looked through the instructions to figure that out. So we'll figure that out when we get there. But to start, I am going to just go through the instructions in order, which means the chest unit is first. Let me get my instructions situated over there where I can see them. And grab my nippers, and I will get started. This is a kit that I've been looking forward to building for a while. I think it's... I've always been a fan of the Tallgeese, and this version of it, I think, just looks really nice. So several months ago when I started putting out polls on Twitter and elsewhere asking which P-Bandai kits I should build on this stream, and I was secretly hoping for people to vote for the Tallgeese Flugel. It didn't ever win any of those polls. So this week, it was my birthday earlier this week, so I decided, since it's my birthday week, I'm gonna just decide what kit we build next, and it's gonna be the one that I choose. That I've been wanting to build for a while. So here we go. It's been a while since I've been able to actually do a stream. It was sometime last week, I believe. Seems like longer than that. I've been super busy lately with random things that I wasn't expecting that have come up. And I expect that for the next couple of weeks, that's going to continue to be the case. Once we get into August and my son is back in his normal school schedule, that's going to simplify things for me a lot as far as being able to be more predictable with times to stream. So I'm looking forward to that, but also this hasn't been that bad. I've had a good last couple weeks, even though it's been weirdly busy. It seems strange with like nothing here on the workspace. Normally I've got a partly completed thing or something that I can sit here for people to look at and get a hint as to what's being built. But when we're starting from scratch here, nothing to see just yet. We'll get this torso built and I'll set it here in front of that camera so that you can see that while we build the rest. I guess we'll start with some of this. I was gonna go grab some more parts, but we'll do this first. We won't get real far before we need more. It's gonna take me a minute to figure out what color all of these runners are by letter so that I can pull them out of the box more efficiently. Especially since we have duplicates that share the same letter, but that are from different kits. This is probably the E we need? Yeah, because it's inner frame from the Tallgeese. Probably worth noting, and this is not something that I usually, or that I care about, or that I usually even mention, but I've had a Twitch follower goal down there at the bottom of the screen on the stream for a little while now, and it was set at 30 just because that's, I think, when I set it up on Twitch, that's what they recommended, given that I was a brand new streamer and didn't have any followers at the time. And sometime last week, I think, it bumped up to 29 out of 30. So we're like so close to that goal, and I've not been obsessing over it, but it would be really cool if somebody shows up today and follows, and we can break that goal. Grab our seated pilot figure here. I've always found the scale of these pilot figures kind of interesting. Like, it's pretty common, I think, in a master grade kit for, I don't know if you can see the difference. There's the standing pilot figure, and the seated one is definitely not to the same scale. Like, this guy's the seated one's a lot smaller than the standing one. I mean, I get they design it so that it fits into the cockpit, but, and I assume the standing one is scaled such that it would be correct, given the height of the final completed mobile suit. But one or the other is not accurate for sure. I believe probably it's the seated one that's not accurate. Yep, so there he is. Nothing real fancy in this cockpit, no little control panels or anything like that. Not that that matters too much, it's not like you're probably going to be going in there and painting a bunch of stuff that no one's ever going to see anyway. Alright, I think we are ready to sandwich this together. Nothing else goes in there. So we will close up the cockpit. Yep, and that's going to sit probably about like that once we get the rest of the parts around here. Alright, so maybe our very first special, new part for this kit. Because it comes off of this XC runner. I think all of these runners that start with X are the new ones. That is typically how they do these. I didn't look through the instructions and study the runners to be sure that that was the case. Also, these two, this XC1 runner and there's also an XC2 runner, they are molded in a dark gray that is a little bit darker and more bluish. Don't know if you can see that or not, than the standard gray that the rest of the inner frame is molded in. So this provides the attachment for the back and also looks like the neck joint as well, all in one piece. I flipped my cutting mat over from the light gray side to the dark gray side for this build on purpose because I thought that since this thing is mostly white as far as the outer armor is concerned, that those parts would show up better on this darker surface. And then we've gone and done a bunch of stuff with dark parts right off the bat. So maybe that was the wrong choice, but it's probably fine. That's not wanting to slide in nicely. There we go. And next up are what? Shoulder joints. Yep, so I assume we're gonna need both of these, one for each side. And nothing else off of that runner. But now we get to see the A runner, which is this nice pale yellow, or, you know, the accent color on this kit. And we need to grab these two chest vent parts off of here. It'll be a while before we get there, but I really like what they did with the shield, the way that they've molded this insert bit that gives the little yellow detail on the shield. All right, and then two polycaps, number 9, there they are. Let me make sure that I got these oriented the correct way. That's always the danger, right? When you cut out two parts that are mirror images of each other at the same time, rather than doing one at a time, that you get the two of them mixed up and then things don't fit together correctly. But this is fine. Then those fit in there like this. Yeah. I believe that I've got them on the correct sides, but it might turn out that we have to flip them around. No, that seemed correct. Nope, that's not the right runner. It's this light gray one. So here's another different shade of gray. This one actually, though, obviously there aren't a lot of parts in this color. This is the only runner of this color. You can see how many parts there are here. It looks like it's mostly just some thruster details. And then these 2 bits that go on the chest. Being careful with that nub there on that curved edge because I don't want to cut too much out and then have to patch it later. This goes either way, so I've turned it so that the nub mark is a bit more hidden. Let's move the cockpit hatch out of the way so that this fits. I am really looking forward to hopefully getting that studio space that I'm building in my garage finished, but it's going to be a while. I'll probably record and post a video on my YouTube channel a bit later today with the progress. The progress has been fine, but the guys that are coming to build the walls to frame out the space have had a scheduling problem, so those are not going to be, the walls are not going to be in until probably the first week in August, which is still a couple weeks from now. So that's disappointing because I would have liked to have been moving forward more quickly than that. But in the meantime, I've done a bunch of prep work to the space and cleaned some stuff out, installed the AC unit, done some other stuff like that. So it's starting to take shape out there, and I cannot wait to get it finished so that I can sit out there and build and be able to show more of my build process than what I can do here at this small desk in my house. It'll be nice to have it all out there in one space. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, but also I'm trying to be patient and remind myself that I want to build it well and finish it out really well before I just jump in there and start working there. Because there are some things setup-wise that are much easier to do before I move all of my equipment and stuff in there. So trying to plan all that out so that I'll be efficient once the walls are in finishing the build out of the space. All right, so that seems good, and then this snaps over the top of this. Feels like it should snap down a little bit more than that. No, I guess not. It just sits on these two pegs here, and it has a little bit of a rocking forward and back motion, so that when the head looks up or down, it can get out of the way. That's upside down. Let's try it this way where it will fit. Yep, so that snaps in nicely. So I didn't realize it because I hadn't put the runners right up next to each other. But there are two tones of white here as well. I don't know if the camera is picking up. It actually kind of looks like it. So this cockpit hatch in the middle here is a very slightly grayish white. It's not pure white. And then the two parts on either side of it are the pure white. So this part and some of these waist armor parts down here are that slightly grayish off-white, which is interesting and a nice touch. I think it looks good. You don't really notice it until you see the parts right next to each other, and then it becomes more obvious. Nice. And so this is one of the spots where the instructions are now calling for one of these stickers, which in this case is just, let me point at these very small round red bits, which it wants you to put right there above the vents on these two circles. So that's our first color correcting sticker application, which of course I'm not going to put on there, but yeah, so that's what some of those stickers are for. I am going to take a very short break, and then we'll build the head unit. So I'll be right back. All right. That feels better. A quick drink of water, a quick stretch. Stood up, moved around. Now we're good. All right, so here is our, get this in focus. There's our torso. It has a face in it. You can't unsee the face now that I've pointed it out to you. Cool. So we will drop this here for a second. Over here. Yeah. It doesn't want to sit up because of the ball joint on the bottom, so we're just gonna have to do it that way. And then we will start on the head unit. So the head unit is cool, right, with this version of the Tallgeese because it has this nice red plume that goes on top, which I saved out here because it's a single piece on a runner and I figured we'd need it kind of early on in the build. So it's not in the box with everything else. Let us begin though with the parts that we need for the face mask, it looks like. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out a few more parts that are obviously for the head while we're here on this runner. We definitely need that one. We probably need this one and this one as well. Yeah, there's no alternate special parts for the head other than that plume. The rest of it looks like it's just the standard Tallgeese head. So that might be it for this runner. I think so. But we need this for the back part of the top of the head. I think that's it for the G runner. We definitely need some stuff off the A runner, but before we get there, yeah, I guess that's it actually. Let's just jump straight there. So this clear part is for the eyes. And then I assume we need the weird square camera bit? Yeah, we do. And then the side vents for the head, right? Which are these yellow ones over here. Anything else? I don't think so. Then we'll go ahead and grab this part. And we've already completed a runner, so this one goes on the floor. This piece also has an extremely wide gate right here at the top of this point. And it makes sense they would have to make it that way so that the plastic pours correctly through there, but I'm gonna be super careful with trimming that. And it's gonna need to be sanded to be perfectly smooth, but it actually came out not too bad just with the nippers. So that's good. That's better than I was expecting. Alright, so that might be all of the parts that we need for the head. Assuming that I didn't miss any when I was looking through the instructions quickly. Well, of course, here's one polycap for the neck joint. So we'll grab that. And then we should be able to assemble. Starting with the face mask and the eyes. I don't know what the Tallgeese, if we call these eyes, it's more like a slit visor, like in an old knight's helmet. Which is perfect, because that goes with this design. So these instructions say there are two positions that you can put this face mask. There's kind of a forward position and a back position. I don't know if you can see in this, actually here. I will show you in extreme close-up mode. Like so. This way. Sorry if that was disorienting. But this piece here has the little circle. If we can get it to focus. That little circle up at the front of this piece on the left-hand side of it is not a, it's not a round peg, it's actually a slot. So there's actually, you can put the round peg that I'm about to fit in there for the face mask. You can either put it toward the front or toward the back of that slot. And I guess the face sits a little bit differently depending on which one of those you want to do. So if we place it in the forward section, like this, that'll be one way to do it. Or, let's see if I can get this out and we'll put it recessed back a little ways. It's gonna be really hard to tell which of these I like better without having like the rest of the head around it, right? So I don't know how they expect you to decide. Alright, so that's the forward version, and then if I place it here, it's set back a little more. Yeah, like just a millimeter back further. I think I like the forward position. This little sort of visor bit that sits up here above the eyes is less prominent when you set it more forward, of course. So I think that that's what I'm going to do, at least for now. And then I'll take a look at it once it's built, and at some point I'll have to disassemble this before I paint it. So when I do that, I might decide to shift it back a little ways. I think the eye visor part actually shows up a little bit better this way as well, like the clear eye slit. All right, so with that, let's work on the rest of these parts now. And let's make sure not to forget to put the polycap in before sliding these in here. Yeah, that's not lined up correctly. Try again. There we go. Right, so here's one. If you've built a Tallgeese before, there's a tiny shard of There we go. Red plastic that made its way down into that white bit there. Okay. So all of the Tallgeese variants have this clear piece, this square clear that sits behind the face visor. And there is a square foil sticker. It's just shiny silver that you're supposed to put on the plastic behind this clear part to make it shine a little better. And of course, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to go ahead and put the clear plastic bit in. This is another place where a toothpick comes in super handy to push that into place. And then the face sits right over the front of that anyway. So that's one of those things that you know it's there because you built it, but it's never really going to be visible. I guess unless you look up underneath the neck there, you can almost kind of see it. And that's really only because I put the face mask part in that more forward position. If I moved it back, this little gap right here underneath the chin would not be quite so big. All right, so let's go ahead and drop this. It goes this way on the top here. And again, this is playing into the two-tone white. Maybe the camera's not picking it up, but this crest, this white crest piece is actually the slightly off white, slightly gray version of white. And then we place this up on top here, like so. Yeah, so there's his big red feather-looking crest. We'll turn it this way so you can see up here. If I can get the camera to focus. Yeah, so there he is. Looks nice. And I haven't turned the page yet to make sure we're done with the head unit, but I assume we are. Yes, we are. So we can go ahead and pop this into place. Not a lot of up and down motion on the head with this because it just fits so tightly. I mean, I guess with this neck bit that pops up, you can look up about that far and you can look down about that far. So there's not a huge range of motion. And then side to side, you start to run into the collar. And actually this bit right here wants to separate. So that's slightly annoying. It might just be my version and how I've fit those pieces together. But yeah, only on this one side, the shoulder wants to separate a little bit. So I'll have to clean that up somehow. Maybe with a little detail part or something in the final version of this build, because that gap is going to annoy me. And it looks like it's fit nicely everywhere else all the way around, so it's just not wanting to stay there. But overall, looks pretty good so far. Up next we have arms. I'm gonna grab a quick drink of water. And we have plenty of time, so let's go ahead and build the arms. and we will do them 2 at the same time. At least until we start to see differences between them. But these look like fairly standard master grade style arms. Double jointed elbows. Kind of the basic standard thing that I'm used to building, so I think we can knock these out fairly quickly. Not that we're in a hurry. Go ahead and grab all the parts we need off of this Sea Runner for the arm inner frame while we're here. We're gonna need that one. I think we need this one. Yeah, we do. That sits in the wrist connection. And then that's actually it off of this runner. No, of course it's not. These two here are for the elbow, or yeah, the elbow joint. All right, so now that is looking better. Grab the same ones from here. All right, before we move ahead, well, actually no, let's just go ahead and clean these and we can put together the majority of the inner frame before I have to cut out the white parts for the armor. This is unrelated to Gunpla, but maybe sort of related because it has giant robots in it. I'm excited that one of my favorite PC games, it's called Into the Breach. It's a tile-based strategy game where you pilot a squad of giant robots that are trying to fend off a alien bug threat. Giant alien insects are invading cities. Anyway, that game is old. It's been out for quite some time. But it just got a major update. I think yesterday it released, maybe the day before. And I haven't played it much yet. I've only gotten to play like 1 or 2 levels. So got a bunch of new content, some more different mechs for your team to pilot, some different enemies, a whole bunch of different weapon upgrades and things like that that are new. So I'm looking forward to playing more of that in the next couple days if I can find time, and seeing what all the new content is. But it's funny because I haven't played that game in probably at least a year, and then suddenly I noticed that there was a update that added a bunch of content, and now I'm super excited about it again. So, but it is a very good game, especially if you like strategy games. It's designed so well. It's made by the guys that made Faster Than Light FTL back in the day. Yeah, it's a really good game. I think we need all 4 of this polycap. And then also we need 33, which is a longish cylinder. Yeah, this one here. Probably for the wrist joint. And I think that does it for now. So the way these arms work is you've got this, which goes in here. And then you get the matching part, which is this one here. And this goes this way. And then you just sandwich these between the 2 elbow parts. So this is the top. Make sure it's the correct orientation, which it is. And then this one goes on the bottom. And there we are, right? So it's as simple as that, and there's your, that's how your double jointed elbow works. These are hard to bend when it's only the inner frame part without any leverage, especially on this upper arm piece here. It's weird that the lower arm never bends completely straight out. So you see there's like a tiny bit of a angle, maybe it's like 10-15 degrees. It can't get any straighter than that just because it's blocked here at the back. All right, let's do the other one real quick. Once again, make sure that we have this in the correct orientation. Make sure we have this one as well in the correct orientation. All right, so 2 of those. And then immediately we'll put this forearm bit onto one of them. So this goes this way. Into here. And then that just slides on like so. Do the same thing again. And now we start to need some of the white armor parts. So let's get those now. Actually, we'll start with these little yellow circular cuffs that go right around the wrist area. And that's probably all we need off of here. Yeah. Everything else for the arms comes off of our B runner. So we've got this round part for the wrist. This one here is the forearm. These two are the sides of the elbow. Do elbows have sides? I guess so. I'm gonna stick with that. They're the sides of the elbow. I guess we should get this as well. This is the upper arm. And that should be it off of this runner. We'll grab all of the matching bits off of here. That's unfortunate. This piece is broken off of one of the gates here and twisted a bit. It looks like the plastic is not damaged. So that's good news. Yeah, it should be fine. I don't think that I've ever gotten a completely damaged beyond repair part in a Bandai kit. I have seen other model kits where there was, some flaw in the molding process that made a part unusable. But with Bandai, I've only ever seen maybe something like what we just saw there, or every once in a while, a piece that's like a little scratched, which isn't probably a molding problem. It's probably in transit. It rubbed up against another runner in the bag or something. But those are usually easy to just sand out and fix. All right. That should be all for these parts. I'm always careful when I'm trimming rounded parts. I don't know if you probably can't see, it's not that detailed on my camera, but I leave a tiny bit extra of the nub than I normally would on a flat part when I'm trimming round ones, because if you trim them perfectly flush, sometimes you cut out too much and you lose the round contour of the part. And so I would rather leave just a tiny bit and then sand it back later and keep it perfectly round. And so that's what I do. And if you want to practice trimming nubs on round parts, I guess this kit is a really good one to try it on. There's tons of round parts on the arms and the legs, if I'm remembering correctly. Not just this kit, but like any master grade Tallgeese. Alright, so with these nubs pushed out of the way a bit, and cleaned up, we should be able to move on and start putting these arm pieces together. So we start with wrists and forearms. We need this first. Just slides all the way up like this until it's locked into place. And then we get our round wrist part. And it's got an opening here which goes on the back, which makes sense. I mean, it fits around this little gray inner frame bit that's made to show through there. And then we put the yellow cuff on, and this does not have a specific direction that it has to, or orientation that it has to go. It just snaps over the top here. So there we go with that. Let's put on these parts first. So this is the back of the elbow. It sits on there just like that. And then there's the other piece which sits above it, just like this. They meet nicely there. There's actually a little bit of a nub right in between that I didn't perfectly clean, but that's fine for now. And then these two parts fit on the sides here and perfectly fill in that space. Probably should have done this one first because it has this bar that goes through to the other side to connect to the other one. But that's fine. We can make it work this way as well. Snap those together nice and perfectly. Yeah. So actually we'll look at the motion of that and how that separates in a minute when I get the top part of the arm on, just because it'll be easier leverage wise to grab that arm and move it around. So let's grab the polycap for that. While I'm here, I'll get the one for the other arm too. We'll just set that off to the side for a second. So this just slots in there. And then they don't have us putting them together yet, but we'll go ahead and attach this onto here. It does not matter which is the front or the back. Hey there, the wolf metal. How's it going? All right, so I said I would show the articulation of this thing and how this armor on the back of the elbow separates. I will try to get the camera to see this well. So as I bend the upper part of the arm, this separates. And then when you bend the lower part of the arm, this bottom part separates. So you get this nice separation on the back side of the elbow when you bend that over. All right, let's build the other one real quick. I guess it'd be cool if I remembered to trim the two nubs off of here, wouldn't it? There we go. All right, so two arms. We'll take care of the shoulders. Then we'll have the upper half of this guy done, and maybe we'll stop for the day. That's probably all we need off of that runner. I'm gonna say yes, it is. I had trouble finding this one because I was expecting it to be white, and I was wrong. This is molded in that darker gray that we saw only on a couple of parts on the inner frame of the torso. Which, I don't know, I think we covered those up completely. I don't remember any of this dark gray still being visible once we finished. Well, the hands are going to be this color too, so that's nice. I do like this color. It's a tiny bit bluish, as well as being nice and dark. We almost certainly need a polycap. Yeah? Yeah. All right, and with that, we can build these things. I found that I tend to always like mobile suit designs that have shoulders and hips usually that are like sort of spherical in shape. So this is good from that point of view. There's one shoulder rolling away. Yeah, we'll just let it roll away. As long as it doesn't escape the desk, we're fine. that did not want to snap on there. But now we're good. And that one is now rolling away. Alright, we'll grab these yellow accent parts. It's interesting, the structure of the shoulders, the main structure that holds them together, are actually these yellow bits, which are meant to just be there for the effect of the trim on the edges. But they designed the parts in a smart way, I think, so that these are what provides the structure underneath. And then the other parts snap on the outside of them so that the correct trim part shows through. And I don't think we need anything else off of the A runner. We definitely need these two parts. I was about to say that's all we need off the H runner, but I was wrong. We need these two little bits as well. All right, so that finishes that. And then we need a couple of things off of here, I believe. Yep, Flugel today. Although not the exciting part of the Flugel, right? That probably won't be until 2 streams from now. If I do it in order of the instructions, the wings are at the end. The wings are meh. Eh. The rooster crown is pretty good, and I like that it came on its own runner by itself. Like they made a whole separate runner just for that one part. The thing I like about the wings is maybe not the wings themselves. It's the logo that they've sort of embossed into the wings. I think it makes them look a lot more interesting than just the plain wings that come with the Wing Gundam. Yeah, it is the same wing unit, except for those few extra parts that add that yellow emblem on there. I noticed, I mentioned this earlier, I noticed when I was pulling the runners out of the bags that because it's the same unit, wing unit, and they just reprinted the same runners, you end up in this kit with weird like duplicate letters. So those wing runners from the wing Gundam are like C and D, but the Tallgeese also has inner frame runners that are C and D, and so we have, you know, duplicates or multiples of the same letter, which if you haven't built the two separate kits before probably would make following these instructions a bit confusing sometimes. Yeah, I totally forgot to put the polycap that goes in there after just having cut it off the runner. That was smart, right? So give me a second to tease these two pieces apart so we can correct that mistake. I'm gonna have to pull them all the way apart. There we go. That wouldn't have mattered until much later when you go to mount the weapon onto the shoulder. But let's fix it now while we can. So this snaps over here. Give this nice dark, this dark bluish gray, I really like the color a lot. That was a good choice by Bandai. And I did not trim the last part that we need, or did not cut off the runner, the last part that we need. which should be this, yeah, this semicircular piece over here. Ah, so many nubs on these parts. There were 5 on each one. All right, here we go. Is there a top or a bottom? Yes. There's a little notch cut out up here that goes at the top. There it goes. Let's just rotate that up slightly so that it's lined up nicely. That's better. So there's a shoulder and another shoulder, and I guess before we put these on, let's build the hands. Maybe not all the variations of the hands, because this does have swappable fingers, looks like. But we'll build one left hand, one right hand, just so it's got something to finish up the arms. The symbol on the wings? I don't know what it is either. Yeah, it's, well, there's not a good picture of it here with it together, right? It's some sort of bird for sure, right? But yeah, I don't know where it came from or what its significance is. Oh, the one on the shield. Well, it's also a, yeah, I mean, it looks like a United States eagle or something, right? I mean, it totally does look like something that would be on, you know, like US currency or something. Even has the little like chevron underneath for you to, you know, put some writing or something in. Your slogan goes here. We need thumbs. And then some fingers. I guess we'll just get the closed fists. So here's a question, and I definitely have a preferred answer for me for this question. But when it comes to hands for mobile suit designs, some of them have a different colored back to the hand, right? So like they would have this backing of the hand in like maybe the outer armor color, like in this case white. And then some of them have the backing of the hand in the same color as the fingers. Do you have a preference? And if it comes one way, do you ever change it to the other way? Because for me, I almost always, like in this case, will repaint this back of the hand to be the armor color of the mobile suit. For whatever reason, I just like them, the backs of the hands being a different color than the rest of the hand. And I'm not sure why that is, but it seems to be always the case when I look at a finished build. If I see this thing snapped up, I'll be like, oh, those hands should change. Alright, so there he is with his arms in place. There's still an annoying gap right here at the top of the shoulder on the torso armor where it's not staying together. Ah, there we go. I think I might have just snapped it past whatever was blocking it from fitting nicely, so that's better. That was annoying me, and now it's fixed, so cool. All right, there we are. Rooster crest. The nice dark bluish gray for the shoulders with the pale yellow trim. I like it. All right, so I think that's it for today. Gundam need two-tone? Yeah, that could be. Maybe that's... Yeah, maybe that's what bugs me. I don't know. I look at this and I'm like, that'd be better in white. Should we see him up close? I haven't gotten to use my fancy camera. That's upside down. There we go. So there it is. There is two-tone to the white as well. Like that middle part of the chest where the cockpit hatch is a very slightly off-white, grayish toned white. So yeah, there's a subtle two-tone to the white in addition to all the various, like 3 different shades of gray that we saw for the inner frame. So interesting color choices on this one. I mean, there's plenty of mobile suits that Bandai probably should make a master grade of that they haven't, right? There's just so many to choose from. Like, how would you, if you were in charge of product design there, how would you decide which kits to make master grades of? There. At least now he can stand almost upright without legs. All right, tomorrow, I think I will have time to stream tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll try to make the legs and waist. Yeah, that should be doable. Just looking through the instructions. It's not too much work, so that'll be on tap hopefully for tomorrow. And for today, that will do it for me. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.